Hello again, class. Our topic for today is the principles of the major social science theories. This subject is based from the MELC number 3 of the disciplines and ideas in the social sciences subject. What is MELC 3? According to MELC 3, in this topic, you are going to analyze the basic concepts and principles of the major social science theories. And there are only 3 theories that were mentioned under MELC 3. These theories are the following. 1. The structural functionalism. Number 2. Marxism or the conflict theory. And number 3. The symbolic interactionism. So what is structural functionalism? According to Britannica.com, this is a school of thought according to which each of the institutions, relationships, rules, and norms that together constitute a society serves a purpose, and each is indispensable for the continued existence of the others and of the society as a whole. According to this perspective, approach, or theory, the social change is regarded as an adaptive response to some tension within the social system. When some part of an integrated social system changes, a tension between this and other parts of the system is created, which will be resolved by the adaptive change of the other parts. In this perspective, the society is perceived as a living organism. Just like the picture here, you can see a picture of a human body. The internal organs are being flashed on screen, like we have the lungs, the liver, the bladder, the stomach, the intestines, and the heart. So each body part has its own function, and it should function well so that the human being can live. So the society in this perspective is being perceived as a living organism. The society is like a human body. The society is a system of highly interrelated parts that work together harmoniously. Each part of the society has each role to perform and works together for the benefit of the whole society. As you can see in this slide, I highlighted these phrases. The one in light blue, it says, the society has each role to perform, or the part of the society has each role to perform. So what are these parts of the society? So we have the government, we have the police force, we have the market, we have the educational institution, we have other units, and each unit, department, agency are considered parts of the society, and each has its role to perform. Another phrase that is being highlighted here in violet is the part should work together. So in order to make the society stable, each part must complement each other, and each part must work together in order for the society to be stable. The proponent of the said theory was Emile Durkheim. He was born 1858 and he died 1917. Emile was a French social scientist. He was generally regarded as the founder of the functionalist theory. He argued that parts of the society are interdependent and that this interdependency imposes structure on the behavior of institutions and their members. The interrelations between the parts of the society contributed to social unity, an integrated system with the characteristics of its own, exterior to individuals, yet driving their behavior. Next to Emile Durkheim was Dalton Parsons. He was an American sociologist that was born 1902 and died 1979. He enunciated the functional prerequisites that any social system must meet in order to survive, developing routinized interpersonal arrangements or structures, defining relations to the external environment, fixing boundaries, and recruiting and controlling members. Classified such structures on the basis of their functional part, and it is sometimes called the systems theory. So there's a saying here of Talcott Parsons. According to him, theory not only formulates what we know, but also tells us what we want to know. That is, the questions to which an answer is needed. Another proponent of this theory is Robert K. Merton. He is an American sociologist that was born 1910 and died 2003. So here in this slide, you can see the picture of Robert K. Merton. The second theory that was included in MELC 3 of the DISS subject is the conflict theory or the Marxist theory, or otherwise known as Marxism. Originated in the work of Karl Marx, who focused on the causes and consequences of class conflict between the bourgeoisie, the owners of the means of production and the capitalists, and the proletariat, or the working class and the poor. Focusing on the economic, social, and political implications of the rise of capitalism in Europe, Marx theorized that this system premised on the existence of a powerful minority class, the bourgeoisie, and an oppressed majority class, the proletariat. Created class conflict because the interests of the two were at odds, and resources were unjustly distributed among them. So here's a picture of Karl Marx. Karl Marx is a German philosopher and sociologist who was born 1818 and died 1883. Looks at society as a competition for limited resources. Society is being made up of individuals in different social classes who must compete for social, material, and political resources such as food and housing, employment, education, and leisure time. Social institutions like government, education, and religion reflect this competition in their inherent inequalities and help maintain the unequal social structure. According to Karl Marx, the labor power is commodity, not capital, in the hands of the laborer, and it constitutes for him a revenue so long as he can continuously repeat its sale. It functions as capital after its sale in the hands of the capitalist during the process of production itself. Next to Karl Marx was Max Weber, or others pronounce it as Max Weber, or others Max Weber. He was a German sociologist born 1864 and died 1920. He agrees with Karl Marx, also believed that in addition to economic inequality, inequalities of political power and social structure create conflict. So the source was from lumenlearning.com, and I got the picture from Britannica.com. So the third theory under the MELC 3 of these subject is the symbolic interactionism. This perspective relies on the symbolic meaning that people develop and build upon in the process of social interaction. Analyzes society by addressing the subjective meanings that people impose on subjects, events, and behaviors. Subjective meanings are given primacy because it is believed that people behave based on what they believe and not just on what is objectively true. Thus, society is thought to be socially constructed through human interpretation. People interpret one another's behavior, and it is these interpretations that form the social bond. These interpretations are called the definition of the situation. So I got this info from www.thoughtcompany.com. The proponent of this said perspective was George Herbert Mead, an American philosopher and a sociologist. He died 1931. He was born 1863. So I got the picture from iep.utm.edu. Although Mead was the one who developed the perspective, but the one who coined the term symbolic interactionism was Herbert Bloomer, an American sociologist who was born 1900 and died 1987. He coined the term symbolic interaction in 1937. And according to him, he has these three basic principles of the theory. The three basic principles of the said theory was highlighted in color light blue. So for number one, according to him, we act toward people and things based on the meaning we interpret from them. So what is this? What is the meaning of this principle? So he gave an example. So when we sit at a table at a restaurant, we expect that those who approach us will be employees of the establishment, and because of this, they will be willing to answer questions about the menu, take our order, and bring us food and drink. So for the principle number two, these meanings are the product of social interaction between people, and they are social and cultural constructs. Further, it was explained that, continuing with the same example, we have come to have expectations of what it means to be a customer in a restaurant based on prior social interactions in which the meaning of restaurant employees has been established. So when we go to a restaurant, we expect that people who will come to us are employees of the restaurant, and we'll have the idea that yes, these people could help us find the right menu or the right food that we could order from that restaurant. And the third principle is meaning making and understanding is an ongoing interpretative process during which the initial meaning might remain the same, evolve slightly, or change radically. Example of a situation where we can find this principle. In concert with the waitress who approaches us, asks if she can help us, and then takes our order, and then the meaning of the waitress is re-established through that interaction. So we know that when we were approached by a waitress in that concert, in that particular concert, and she asked what will be our order, then the meaning that we implied, or the meaning that we got from that interaction, is the waitress is ready to get the order from us. But in other words, in other situation, when that waitress approached us and told us that the food is ready in the buffet table, that means the waitress just told us to go to the table, and because the table is ready, so she doesn't have to take the orders from us, but instead she directed us to go directly to the table. So aside from the two, another proponent, who's also an American sociologist, was Harold Garfinkel, who was born 1917 and died 2011. As you can see in this slide, there's a picture of Harold Garfinkel. And of course, the Canadian sociologist who go with the thoughts of the previous sociologist was no other than Irving Goffman. He was born 1922 and died 1982.